This is the national and international news at 0700. Maritime and Coast Guard agencies are reporting that a migrant vessel
Dover,
has been
White,
spotted.
Portland, Plymouth. Southwesterly 6 to gale 8, occasionally severe gale 9.
Plymouth Harbour Master, this is Cutter Speedwell, over.
Speedwell, go ahead.
Passing Drake's Island now, proceeding southeast. Border Force Base, this is Speedwell.
Border Force Base, go ahead.
Border Force Base, Speedwell. Migrant inflatable located, it's a big un. Over.
Speedwell, Border Force Base, understood. Proceed with caution.
Meg, stop those blokes doing that and get the women and children on as soon as you can.
Bridge foredeck. Can we get a body bag down here? Over.
Border Force Base, this is Speedwell.
Border Force Base, go ahead.
Border Force Base, Speedwell. All migrants boarded, 53 souls. 1 dead, 2 serious hypothermic, over.
Speedwell, Border Force Base, can you give me an ETA? Over.
Border Force Base, Speedwell, ETA 1300, 1330, over.
Speedwell, this is Border Force Base.
Border Force Base, go ahead.
Need you out again immediately. Sorry guys, fuel and stock ASAP. Over.
Border Force Base, this is Speedwell, roger, understood.
Those charged with the protection of the UK's maritime borders and its resources will know right away that is fiction. But fiction based on a very present reality, and one that's getting closer to our shores. So how ready are we if we need to take on what the Greek, Italian and now the Spanish littoral forces are facing? And how well are the UK's maritime borders equipped operationally for protection of our coasts? Figures from a parliamentary report revealed a troubling picture, especially in terms of assets and coastline to cover. That, of course, is just a snapshot of several countries' maritime border forces, published by the Commons Home Affairs Committee last year. According to the committee, some new UK assets were on the way, so things are moving, but how far?
The situation has changed since that report. We now have a fleet of coastal patrol vessels as well as our cutters in service. There's 4 of these now in operational service based around the UK. What they bring to our toolkit is the ability to go into much smaller ports, marinas, smaller inlets, creeks, riverine estuaries, and get a border force presence into those areas that we just can't do with the offshore patrol vessels. Offshore vessels have got their role, very important role in policing our marine borders offshore. These vessels give us that footprint in more coastal communities.
It's not just what may be on the sea, but also what's very definitely in it that's another prime concern for those patrolling the littoral for us all. This is an inspection team from HMS Severn, one of the Royal Navy's River-class offshore patrol vessels of the Fishery Protection Squadron. their task, already of the highest importance in protecting fish stocks, will become immeasurably more so as we assume control of our own fisheries on leaving the European Union. But like her sisters, Seven is definitely a maid of all work. A lot of work.
For 320 days of each year, we're at sea, conducting inspections of fishing vessels in UK waters. In addition to that, we do a lot of navigation training to train our junior officers in the Royal Navy. We do a lot of visits to local communities around the UK, and on occasions we're called to do some quite sensitive national tasking to keep our waters safe and the UK's interests protected.
This, though, is Seven's last shout. Her long decommissioning pennant will fly at the end of this voyage, as she returns to port to be put into reserve or up for sale. Replacements are on the way for the Royal Navy, but why even think about getting rid of a ship that may soon be needed more than ever?
What we lack at the moment is a single coordinating authority that can both prioritise resources but also actually conduct much better surveillance, not just of the physical seascape offshore, but also the cyber and electronic landscape as well. And it's only when we bring all those things together with a joint coordinating unit that we'll get some idea of what's going on in our offshore zone and who and what is trying to penetrate our borders.
This is where the coordination Rear Admiral Parry urges has made a start. Here at NIMIC, the National Maritime Information Centre in well, we can't say. And no, our cameraman wasn't having an off day. We've been asked by the Home Office to keep it all very secret. What we can tell you is that it's located, well south of the Wash. To see what such a service looks like in action, we had to get in an aeroplane.
We have a very fruitful cooperation around the North Sea with 5 nations. For me, the one with the UK is one of the major ones. For the Netherlands Coast Guard, the major challenges at present and coming up is 3. First of all, we're facing less and less space at sea and more traffic. The second one is cybersecurity related to unmanned ships, which we'll be facing in the years to come. And the third one is maritime security.
The story of humanity will always be intertwined with the sea, an invaluable natural resource.
But it's not just government agencies taking an interest in maritime security in fisheries and beyond. There's vigorous non-government involvement too. One of the leaders in that field, with focus on the developing nations, is a giant, the Pew Charitable Trusts.
Pew's got a raft of projects, and they go from the Arctic Ocean down to the southern seas, looking primarily at building on 6 main pillars, and that's protecting ocean habitats, ending sanctioned overfishing in northwest Europe and the United States, protecting apex predators such as sharks and tunas, which are essential for the well-being of the maritime ecosystems around the globe, improving ocean governance, moving towards an ecosystems-based fisheries management, particularly in the US, and finally, and closest to my heart, ending illegal fishing globally.
To achieve all this, Pew know that access to new technology is key. So there's corporate commitment too.
Where digital transformation is taking place, and the world changes in the blink of an eye.
At global digital company Esri, maps and data are combined to open up whole new ways of managing ocean environments for everyone's benefit.
This is a dashboard which allows you to see the activity at any point in time to trigger alerts, and I would imagine that any authorities would be interested in being able to monitor that in terms of shipping, trawlers from different flag countries, etc.
So there is no hiding place?
There isn't, exactly.
As we further integrate after Brexit, our economic zone and our territorial seas will see much greater attention paid to the digitisation, not only of the information that we have about the subsurface, but also the surface and above surface environments, which we're going to have to scan almost continuously if we're going to secure our borders.
But however smart your data, all involved know all too well that there's no substitute for hulls in the water ready to go. Now as ever, and into the future, along the UK littoral, it's on that the prosperity and safety of our islands do chiefly depend.